So this is part 2 of the geometric portrait in the style of Anthony Gerace. In part 1, we did all of our editing and cut our subject out and put them onto a solid background and then added a texture. In this step, we're going to add the grid. So step 1, add a new layer. This is where we're going to put our grid. Step 2, we're going to turn on Photoshop's grid because it helps us keep everything nice and even. So if you look at the top of your screen, right here, click down, Show Grids. You will notice that Photoshop puts on a dark gray and a light gray set of lines. The light gray ones we're not going to worry about. We're going to actually use the dark gray ones because they are spaced out more like what we're going to want. So we're going to go over here and choose the marquee tool. I'm going to start with the single column marquee tool. I'm going to make sure my feather is set to 0. And I'm going to click on this first vertical dark gray line. As long as I click pretty close, my snap is going to connect my click to the line. So I don't have to be right on it because Photoshop knows what I want. So now that it's selected, I want to fill that shape with the color of my grid. I'm choosing white. So I can go up to Edit, Fill, and choose white and say OK. But there's a quicker way, so I'll show you that on the next one. You guys know I like to use the keyboard, so I'm going to click for this piece of the grid. And I'm going to, instead of doing Edit Fill, I'm going to use the quick command here, which is Shift F5. So here we go. Shift F5 brings up that same fill menu, and I'm going to say white's still there, so I can just hit Enter. And I can repeat. It's going to take a while. Again, Shift F5. The problem is that you're probably saying, where are your lines? Can't even see them. Now, if I Control D to deselect here, still don't see them. If I go in and turn my grid off, you might be able to see them a little bit. They're very skinny. They're not as thick a lines as I would prefer. So here's what we're going to do at this step. I'm going to go down in my layers palette and I'm going to click on FX. And I'm going to go up to Stroke. A stroke is an outline. So when the window pops up and I'm in stroke here, I'm going to choose the color that I want for the outline. Black doesn't make sense at all. I want my outline to be white. So basically it's just making those lines fatter. And then the size of your stroke is here. You can type in whatever you'd like, and you can always change it later if you feel like it's too big. I'm going to go with 10 for now, but if I decide I can go actually skinnier than that by just coming back and double clicking on this. And again, clicking on stroke. And maybe I decide, you know what, I want them a little thinner. Maybe I'll go with 5 or 8. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my grid back on so we can continue adding a couple more lines. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of this because it's kind of boring. Well, I also just want to show you that then we're going to do the single row marquee tool for all of these horizontal lines. Filling everything with your fill color. Repeat until your whole picture has a grid on top of it. And of course, saving every so often so you don't accidentally lose everything. So I'm going to stop part 2 here and we'll come back. I'll have my grid finished up and we're going to do the fun part, which is the creative masking where we get to take out certain parts.